I have a couple poems for everyone today. I've been thinking about I've kind of been going through like a little bit of a depressive episode, and so I've been thinking about kind of my mental health, and I went to a depression support group the other night. Just I'm in Southern California. I'm at my dad's, and I was just looking for community and stuff, and I went to a support group, and I was sitting there kind of just sharing stories with all sorts of people. There was like a Vietnam vet, there was this Russian dude, there was, a 20 something. And I realized that so many of our stories are so similar and in different contexts, but a lot of like the beats were the same, and everything that everybody was sharing, you could just see like heads nodding. And I realized that like, these experiences are so they're universal, but they're also so solitary and like lonely, and we have words to describe them, and we can tell them linearly, we can tell them abstractly, and somehow it's like we get them, but we're still very isolated within them. It's like words are all we have, and words are all we have. And so I don't know. I pulled out a couple of, and I think that's what I've been trying to get at with when I write about my mental health or any of those experiences. It's always kind of this like back and forth between linearity, what happened and how it felt, and the words that wrestle with it. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to play around with a couple of those poems, and yeah, I'll dive in. This first poem is called Admission, and it's in three parts. One, I've hardly opened my mouth. I don't share my name in case I'm made laughing stock. I don't name things in case I lose my wallet. I was turned off. I don't feel right. I am told otherwise. I find confusion triggering. I admit I've tried to snap. Tried to kick a girl into gear, rode hard for the break and failed. Show's over. How starved, how stretched, how thin-skinned, raw, and dying to know better. I'll admit naming my guilty pleasures gets me off. For one, outsmarting yourself. Congratulations, you've been double-binded, foiled again. I've planned a lunch date with my corrosions next weekend. It smells like pennies and lemon verbena in here. I'd pin myself in a lineup immediately. Which one of you is to blame for all of it this time? Two, I've developed a taste for the difficult. Born inauspicious, mother dreamt the world a girl, knees skinned a sheep's head, crowning a wolf's mouth, daughter raised for meat. Sold heart first to a confidence man, 6 months in a bedroom, 4 in asylum, last February, etc. Honestly, how uncomfortable must one be to be valuable and rare in this town? Paid any mind? Attention, another dramatic gesture ends in wild encore, another public whimper. 3, a piano from 12 stories up may be comedy given where it lands, or tragedy given the note. Have I misinterpreted myself again? Have I missed my chance? These once idle hands have been busy keeping the doldrums at bay, chopping it up for birds between short circuits of flight. Last night, my mother rearranged the world again, awoke a meteor hurtling a frantic wolf pack, she said, of bees, the whole dead swarm. Packed and torched my suitcase, warned against skyscrapers, called them open doors to the end. I've built a bunker for one. Am I making any sense? I didn't mean to interrupt or erupt like this at all. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I am trying. I'm trying to understand how I got here, how I ended up. Thank you. Um, and kind of going on this theme, a little bit of a bummer, I'm sorry. I promise I'll redeem myself at the end. This next piece is called What Happens When Depression is No Longer Your Singular Universe, or the Truth About Black Holes. We don't talk much about hell repurposed. What happens when depression is no longer your singular universe? Once a God particle, less ornate now, charcoal dunce, or charcoal dull, still dense, a singularity they made you swallow. Not to discount or overuse the term, certainly there are worse things you must remind yourself than your eating habits. Some days you can't remember what they are. You could point to the wormhole right here, but what would that prove? It's been there, reptile brain, since the dawn of your trajectory. Hell is a body part now. Skin and bone, exoplanet, neutron star, sternum, scar. It catches your seatbelt, you off guard every time. Mind the gap, make eye contact, smile, notice symptoms, durations, nod if you understand. Heave yourself, no ease your way off another vehicle, cross 6 humming lanes, wait for it. A brisk walk and a light jog are not the same thing. Remember how you lost your head at the front door, how Tetris felt like Pac-Man. You will cry in public. You will want to drive yourself off the bridge from time to time. Arrive early. You will trip the alarm for the rest of your life. Mind the time it will take to explain this scene. TSA, so much traffic. The God particle you swallowed, a neutron star, broke the scanner, butterflied your sternum. Can't stop tonguing the wound, the large black hole in X-ray after X-ray after X-ray. Thanks. Let's see. This is a newer piece I wrote. It's called Channel Orange. It's called Channel Orange. White and orange mornings get me up, keep me standing long enough, sometimes a victory. The afternoon, round and halved, raises my baseline, levels my threshold. When the world is too loud, a peach in my pocket reduces all feeling to the sound of TV in another room. It's a warm thing, I don't mind it, but it's hard to write things down, a price to pay. I don't remember names or things that have transpired before or are transpiring now. The significance of most is lost on me. But I am told that this too is the science of the moon and stars and the tiniest neurons firing. I'm not sure what makes sense, is real, is anything. I'm not complaining. It's nice to be here. I used to smoke cigarettes. I think I feel things sometimes, or I know what I should be feeling. I can rattle off a diagnosis. I tried to be a hypochondriac. I should have been a pharmacist. I promise I'm not wallowing. There are words and terms I still enjoy, but I don't think I'm much a writer anymore. Thank you. I feel like I'm kind of zipping through these. Let's see. These next two are pretty new. And they're actually, let's read this one. And this, I think, is another example of, having an experience, especially having to do with one's kind of mental and emotional health, and words not quite being enough, but kind of the feelings that they convey somehow, all of us understanding. It's called Behavioral Health Unit. Who put cheese in her tomato sandwich, untouched, and she sullen after a hard amphetamine crash over Samuel Beckett and the lines he stole, unconvinced he was dead, and she only 17, going on 36. No, she wasn't crazy. She spilled her coffee and cried, oh, overwatered fern, brown in her hands, unfolding two disquiet palms, vivid dreamer, insomniac daughter. This is how September started, ward on a wing. No, she wasn't crazy. She spilled her coffee and cried. Even if she could make the pieces fit together on her own, she'd be a good sport and play along. Hide and seek, circling after hours, the other residents also tagged, attendees at the concert paid, all pop concern, a whole week, unmoored by significance, by recognizable faces, clues by the local news, by fire season. The doctors with their backs turned, arms akimbo, counting nothing. The lights blinking as if answers through the heating vent, something keeping score. Perhaps it is best to remain unnamed, unwound. Sometimes designation has its pitfalls. Some games, a secret, still live on in some permanent record. It ended well. She lost the crossword, won the word search, second place, and a plane ticket anywhere. Nobody said, I believe you, all playing by the rules of two worlds at odds. Her roommate confirmed it, the inherent lack of difference, of madness, of meaning, but she was crazy too. Thanks, she replied, still grasping at clues, pretending otherwise. Thanks for everything. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I feel like I'm still kind of working with that one, but I have two more for you. This one is, it's called Consolation Prize. I feel like lots of people came out of the pandemic, like better people, like speaking French and baking bread and just doing all these things. And I just was not one of those people. And, you know, and I feel like we've all just kind of been like stuttering our way back out into the world. And this is kind of my attempt to capture that feeling. It's called Consolation Prize. No longer the broad definition I used to go by. I've gotten off the internet. My face a state of emergency since Halloween. Snapped in March to critical acclaim, a woman on the verge once, wedged now between a crown of thorns, an angry mob, a virus gone Godzilla on the populace. I was primed for an elegant return. A yellow sundress, a violin concerto, not this grindhouse nightmare. Is it my fault? I understand we are all of us fucked, but I've been upstaged. They say, in order to transform, you must turn yourself out, writhe inside a chrysalis, completely lose your shit. Late bloomer, you've outgrown yourself in your 30s. Hail Mary, you must delete your Twitter, disappear a while. Explain this gap in your adult life. I fell asleep inside a month-long nothing, spent months longing to leave this world. As a last-ditch spaceship seen here crashing just shy of landing, just short of discovery, what if it was water? So what about it now? I got blood on the carpet, tried to hide it. I skipped a few meals and I liked it, perfected this art of getting in the way. And I meant to rejoin the world last season, thought I'd catch up come springtime, then summer, it's autumn again. The wild birds have come and gone, and I remain an earthbound thing. But the Golden Gate has learned to sing. But the last of the butterflies landing and taking off again, no one's complaining. And bless the rain, drunk all summer, long past due on the orange horizon, nobody blames it. Perhaps I too could go south a while, learn a new trick, find a name that finally fits, try my hand at other feats, allow myself the dismount, I'd stick the landing. Maybe I too could be known for something else. Thank you. That's me. I wanted to end with a poem by Milena Morling, and this is just one of my favorite poems ever. It's called "How Wondrous Strange It Was at That Moment to Be in the Flesh" by Milena Morling. The year we lived in our car, there were clouds above us like mountains that did not weigh anything. There were voices rising through the static, singing San Diego Serenade or Benedictus Qui Venit. And once, Hardenberger played an Albioni trumpet solo somewhere in Ohio, and you, sitting behind the wheel, turned to me and said, "It's like slicing butter in heaven." How wondrous strange it was at that moment to be in the flesh. Far off, fleets of clouds moved over the grass, and on the ground, their shadows that will never be aloft raced after them. And everywhere we looked, there were dandelions, those lights that have grown up out of the earth. It's me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was beautiful, wonderful. I mean, and you covered some trying ground. I mean, and you did it so well. I mean, just wow, 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 wow. And it's okay to feel good. It's okay to feel good.